What up, guys? Swifty here, coming up to you with the Bears post mini camp update. Last weekend was the start of a new era in Chicago Bears football. Not only do we have a new generation of rookies stepping onto the field, but they are also the first wave of rookies from the Ryan Poles era. In a year where we had very few draft picks, you have to be excited about the amount of young talent present at rookie camp. Poles turned 6 picks into 11, and this became our biggest draft class in years. He then tripled down by bringing in more than 30 undrafted free agents. That is right, over 40 players reported to Bears minicamp this weekend. I know people hate rookies, but I always prefer a younger, more athletic team, and that is exactly the way Poles is building. We haven't really ever built in this direction before, and I for one am all for it. Ryan Poles brought in enough players to provide competition all over the roster. That competition has already begun as our roster is at a maximum now, and to sign anyone else, we have to cut a player. That started already, as a lot of you saw in yesterday's video. We made 12 moves after minicamp, adding 6 players and having to release the same amount. Now, don't kid yourself. There's no way that all these guys end up being great players, but Poles and company have maximized their chances at finding diamonds in the rough. I believe our coaching staff will get the most out of these players and put them in a position to succeed. A philosophy that Colts GM has preached for years, that's Chris Ballard, Poles is also familiar with. They don't want to know what players can't do. They want to know what players can do and put them in a position where they can excel. One interesting thing that we can watch this year as Bears fans will be the competition in preseason games. Usually our second and third teams are filled with guys who don't belong in the NFL. And while that definitely could be the case this year, our backups will have much more athleticism and potential than normal. Without a ton of experience in our backups, preseason will be more important than normal. Training camp as well. There is still time for Chicago to bring in veterans, but I like where our roster stands right now. There was also a reported schedule leak yesterday. The official schedule will be releasing tomorrow, but just in case, I wanted to take a peek at this. Our schedule this year features quite a number of winnable games, which is why it's weird for me that fans think we don't have a chance this year. If the schedule actually starts like this, there would be a real chance that the Bears could start out 5-0 or at least 4-1 to start the season. The schedule would get harder after that, but would still feature a number of winnable games. Schedule makers should give us a break because the last few years have been overly difficult. There is no way the schedule will be awful though. There's just too many beatable teams that we play this year. Stay tuned for the full schedule release tomorrow and be prepared for analysts to go around saying we're going to go 3-14. It's okay, most of us prefer to be underdogs anyway. Now let's do a recap of the couple of interesting things that we learned from this weekend's minicamps. Rookie minicamp has wrapped up and we learned a lot, not only from the camp but also from the interviews. Jaquan Brisker joked about Justin Fields and wanting to have the number 1 jersey. He spoke about his friendship with Adrian Amos. He said Amos keeps in touch, and he gave Brisker tips in college. He also called himself an old school safety. I like that a lot. When asked if he was going to be a starter, Brisker gave a veteran's response saying he's going to take it one day at a time. Tyler Gordon also spoke to the media next. I notice every time I see him speak, or even the way he carries himself, Tyler is an alpha and will be a charismatic leader for Chicago. Tyler can play anywhere in the defense, and he's prepared for the NFL. He spoke about Peanut Tillman coming in and talking to the team and how he helped them learn the peanut punch. Even better, Gordon said the coaches had them study Tillman's peanut punch when he was at college at Washington, so it's something that he's already familiar with. It's great to see Flus bring in Bears legend Peanut Tillman. He's an all-time favorite of mine, and the peanut punch should be a staple in any great 4-3 defense. New Bears reporter and former Vikings reporter, the lovely Courtney Cronin, also had a day one report. She called it the most vigorous rookie camp she's ever covered. There was lots of intensity and finishing through contact. I love to hear that. I would expect that from this class as most of these guys play with aggression and block to the echo of the whistle. A couple of notes from a report. She said Elijah Hicks, the 7th round safety I love, was here and doing walkthroughs. He's still recovering from a foot injury. Undrafted free agent Kevin Shaw made a nice grab on the deep throw. He was going to be in my next undrafted spotlight video, but he got cut. Courtney also noted that the Bears DBs were working on the peanut punch during practice. After hearing that from the meeting, it's good to see Peanut's words being taken to heart. Eberflus also talked about how he liked the offensive line play and how Luke Getsy has special plans for rookie wideout Velus Jones Jr. Says they will work him at wide receiver, they will move him all around and find ways to get him the ball. Getsy talks about this isn't my offense, it's our offense. That is so refreshing to hear. He talks about how they were bringing in different things that fit different players. It's so refreshing to hear a head coach who is actively trying to find ways to put players in a position to succeed. It should be a common practice in the NFL, but after years of Matt Nagy, it is just so refreshing to see in Chicago. Getsy also spoke on Justin Fields, saying he's been super impressed with him. He also added there's no one in the building that works harder than him or cares more than him. These are traits that I have seen all along in Justin Fields and why I don't like the narratives that he isn't a hard worker. This kid is going to change so many people's minds very soon. Overall, there wasn't a ton of news from this weekend, but I am sure the Bears are keeping some of it under wraps. There were some highlights and plenty of pictures released, as well as a slew of press conferences to listen to. Most of the information was trivial, and of course the Bears didn't go unveil anything too secret. They did, however, say that every spot on the offensive line is up for grabs and will have fierce competitions all over the roster. I love to hear it, and I think training camp will be especially exciting to watch this season. I will most likely be going to camp at least once this year, bringing back me and my buddies' nearly 20-year tradition that was ruined by COVID. As always, I appreciate everyone who is watching. Please hit that like button for me, and if you aren't a sub yet, it's time to jump on the bandwagon. This season and our team's future are going to be exciting to watch. I can't wait. Till next time, bear down.